5:16, as we talk about weather and election day, it will be a beautiful day. I did early voting last week. It was a beautiful day that day. It didn't take long to get through the lines. Had a little bubble gum in my hand, just trying to help me. Some gumballs. I think I ate the whole pack trying to get through the line, but it really didn't take that long. So.
Well, I think today is also going to be similar to what you experienced last week during early voting. It is going to be severe clear. It is going to be fantastic. Now, the morning's going to be a little bit on the chilly side, so make sure you bundle up, especially if those lines are out the door. But hopefully they won't be too long the lines, and you'll get in fairly quickly. By the afternoon hours, if you're holding off until maybe during lunchtime or after work, those temperature readings should be somewhere into the upper 70s and then quickly dropping off once the sun goes down. Wednesday, Thursday, we'll be starting off the morning cool on Wednesday, but by Thursday morning, we could be talking about some areas of dense fog. This morning, we're tracking some patches of fog here and there. Our visibility in and around downtown, heading inbound toward downtown, is looking just fine at this point with the temperature reading of 50 degrees. The winds are nice and calm. We may see those winds slowly start to pick up in the 10 to 15 mile per hour range later on today along the coastline, but for now, it's nice and light at 5 miles per hour. Temperature reading of 61 in Galveston. Here's a look at our visibility map. I want to show you where we are tracking just a little bit of fog that may reduce the visibility down to less than a mile right now in the city of Tomball, and then south and west of Houston. For those of you that might be traveling out toward Victoria this morning, that's where we've got the visibility down to 1.5 miles. But there are signs that as the winds begin to turn in from the Gulf later on this week, specifically Wednesday night into Thursday morning, you'll want to build your patience into that commute, especially for those of you that may be getting an early start to that drive. 6, 7 a.m. is when we anticipate that fog to slowly start to crawl in, start to develop, and then it may take a couple of hours before that fog lifts around 9, 10 o'clock or so. And then we may see the redevelopment of that fog south and west of Houston late in the evening, and then during the overnight hours by Friday morning could be tracking another round of some patchy, dense fog. Otherwise, this morning, severe clear, as I mentioned, a nice clear sky, calm wind, temperature readings in the mid to upper 40s, low 50s right now. By this afternoon, we'll be warming in the upper 70s to low 80s. Overnight, you'll notice that the temperature readings may not be quite as chilly, with those overnight lows dropping mainly in the low to mid 50s, upper 50s closer to the coastline, as the winds will be turning in from the Gulf. So that'll pause those temperatures from trending lower than what we've seen in the past few days. Now, it does look like we may be approaching some records by the end of the week. By Friday afternoon, we're going to be talking about highs nearing 90 degrees. A couple of spots south and west of Houston may touch that 90-degree reading briefly. The number to tie at Bush Airport, the high to tie, is 89, forecasting a high of 87. But don't worry, as quickly as we see those temperatures heat up by the end of the week, high pressure is going to slowly start to move away from us. That's going to draw in the heat for us later on this week. But also, once it moves away, it's going to help draw in our next week front. This one's not going to produce a lot of rain across the area, nothing widespread, more isolated, a spotty shower or two. You'll see that our rain chance for Sunday is only at 20%. And then behind that front, we will get some cooler air. We'll get a little piece of this cool Canadian air, but the coldest air is going to stay over the Midwest, where it's going to mix in with some precipitation. Could find some snow around the Great Lakes region and also across the Northeast with some heavy rain there. But for us, we get a little piece of that, and so by next week it will be below normal as far as highs are concerned across much of the Midwest and the eastern seaboard. And for us, even though we get those temperatures to knock a few degrees, it's still going to be above normal for this time of year. So there's the front penciled in, a 20% chance for some wet weather overnight. Those temperatures will be trending somewhere into the 50s. We'll find that those morning lows by Veterans Day will be somewhere in the upper 40s to low 50s, and then the afternoon temperatures will be very pleasant, somewhere into the mid 70s. So a similar forecast to what we've experienced in the last couple of days. We'll just find that over the next couple of days, get ready, it's going to heat up again, ladies, before that next cool down.
All right, Elita, thank you. Well, you got to play in order to, be up for grabs. Good luck if you play. Okay, let's turn to the weather here with Elita. I'm liking how November is starting, Elita.
Yeah, definitely winning when it comes to our highs. We like the blue. That means that the high temperatures so far for the first few days of November have been below normal. So typically this time of year, temperature readings should be in the upper 70s, and that's where we have been. Now we are going to start to see some gradual warming around here. Today's high is a little bit warmer than yesterday by a few degrees, and then we will manage to see temperature readings approach near record levels. This time of year, we're not talking about record highs in the 90s, but by Friday, that record high of 89 degrees is certainly going to be close enough with that forecast high of 87, where that record may be challenged. 86 on Saturday, and then we get a weak front blowing through here that's going to deliver some cooler temperatures, maybe even cooler than normal. And I'll be honest with you, based on some of the model data that I'm seeing this morning, these temperatures, especially as we get into Monday and Tuesday, may need to trend lower. Some of our numbers are coming in colder than what we've got going on right now. So as we get more model data coming in over the next couple of days, don't be surprised if these temperature readings get closer to the lower 70s instead of the mid 70s. But it is playing out to be a very nice Veterans Day with temperature readings overnight potentially dropping somewhere in the upper 40s to low 50s, similar to this morning, and highs staying into the 70s. So we've got some good looking weather ahead. All right, out the door this morning, looking pretty nice for you. Those of you headed out this morning, it is dry, nice and quiet. We're not talking about elevated winds along the coastline. The winds have been relatively calm. We may see those winds gradually increasing, 10 to 15 mile per hour winds potentially this afternoon. Otherwise, the winds have been calm enough this morning where we've got a little bit of fog that has settled in around the Tomball area. Also tracking a little bit of fog out toward Victoria. But the model data is suggesting as the winds start to turn in from the Gulf over the next couple of days, we may see more fog developing as early as Thursday morning. And some of that fog may linger depending on the wind speeds at least until Friday morning. Now, it does look like that fog will start to lift around 9, 10 o'clock Thursday morning, and then perhaps even seeing another batch of low ceiling of clouds develop south and west of Houston as we get into the overnight hours Thursday and into Friday morning. All right, here's a look at temperature readings in your neighborhood. Cleveland, you're at 41, 47 in Livingston, upper 40s around Sugar Land as well as Bay City. And by this afternoon, we've got a nice warm up built in. Lots of sunshine for today, upper 70s to low 80s, mid 70s closer you are to the coastline. And with the winds coming in from the Gulf overnight, that will mean that temperature readings won't be quite as chilly. Still going to be very comfortable with the humidity levels in our favor, but the humidity levels will start to trend upwards later on this week into the weekend, where we've added a slim chance for some of that wet weather. As high pressure starts to move away, that's our November heat wave, that's drawing in that near record breaking warmth later on this week. And then that weak front moving in sometime late Saturday night into Sunday is trending drier. We've penciled in a 20% chance for some wet weather, but it looks like the majority of that rain is really going to be focused over the Midwest, where they've got some colder air that's going to be diving in, overlapping some of that precipitation. So we're going to see kind of this rainy and snow mix from the Midwest into the Northeast. But the coldest of that air is going to be diving from Canada over the Midwest and to the north and east. Check out the temperature readings and how quickly they tumble by Sunday. For those of you that might be traveling, maybe headed to Detroit, Minneapolis, look at those readings. By Sunday, those temperature readings will be tumbling in the mid to upper 20s. We're far away from that cold air mass, but we get a little piece of that getting pulled in our direction early next week. We have not dropped those temperatures yet to reflect that little piece of cold air, but if the models are continuing to trend in this direction, colder, we may have to make some adjustments to that forecast, as I mentioned. So let's lay it out for you, that 10-day, show you where we stand for now and where we might see some adjustments. These numbers here, Monday and Tuesday, once that front blows through, it looks like we could get a bigger piece of that cool down coming in. So instead of those temperatures in the lower 50s where we have them right now, they could be somewhere into the mid to even upper 40s by Monday and Tuesday morning. But until then, not changing this forecast because it's a good one for us the next few days. Lots of sunshine, those temperature readings overnight in the 50s by Wednesday morning, highs somewhere into the low 80s, and then eventually into the upper 80s to close out the week. Back to you guys.
Okay.